The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with.
Shall we play?
Welcome to a new episode of Nude Clan. I am your host, Caleb Craig.
And this is Cameron.
And I am Caleb Schweiss.
And I am just...
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well, today we're going to be talking about DmC, Devil May Cry, the Ninja Theory reboot. You done?
No. I'm pretty sure everyone
I'll continue later.
Yeah?
Yeah, what are we talking about today?
DmC.
What kind of DLC?
No, DmC. Yeah.
Is that like a band?
No.
What is it?
It's a game. This is Nude Clan.
DmC?
We only talk about games here.
What does DmC stand for?
Devil May Cry.
Wait, Devil May or May Not Cry?
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
He might cry.
Okay, all right. I got it. We're good. We can continue.
Can we?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
It
So what has everybody been playing this week? Yeah.
Well, I have been playing Doom. I played a little bit of that, trying to get through that. And then I've also been playing a lot of Fallout 4 again.
Where'd you get Doom? Did you get the BFG?
I got the BFG, so I'm playing on Xbox 360.
Oh, okay.
I can hear Caleb's contempt for the system in that.
Well, hopefully it lasts
Dylan-
long enough for you to finish the game.
Did you guys tell Dylan? Has Dylan started?
That's what I asked
Yeah, we
Caleb.
told Dylan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you? I asked you the other day. Does Dylan know?
He came over for Game of Thrones, and I told him it's Doom.
You asked me the other day?
No, I looked at
I was
him.
like, what?
What have you been playing, Caleb?
I played a ton of DmC. I tried to outdo you, which I know is easy, but I went for it anyway. And I played a bunch of that. I jumped on Final Fantasy X-2, I believe, on Sunday. I played for like 4 hours. Got a good chunk of stuff done. I'm probably going to power through that pretty quick. For Ultima's review, I started Rocksmith last night. I know we're not supposed to start the challenge until Monday, but I got the game and I was like, I really want to play this game right now. So I went and got some strings.
That's all right. So I will play for an hour tonight. So
Yeah, I was going to say, you can even it out if you want. So
Yeah,
you
just do
can't
2
play.
hours tonight.
You can't play, Caleb. You can't play tonight. Are you gonna play tonight?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, good. He's lying to me. I can tell he's fucking lying.
I'll be streaming it. You're like, you fucker!
Yeah, I think we should stream our first go at it. You can stream on Ultima, and I'll stream on Nude.
Just stream every time. Jesus, Cameron. Stream.
But it does make us look pretty bad. But then again, we can just say noob.
They don't want us to. They don't want to watch all of our stupid lessons and stuff and our messing up and tuning the
They might. You never know.
People come on to hang out with us. I don't think they come on to see the game.
It's normally background noise.
If you guys want us to stream our crappy guitars, then yeah, we'll do that for you.
Yeah, just tweet him and tell him you want to watch him suck.
At Nude Clan Cam, hey, I want to watch you suck. That's an amazing tweet.
Oh man. I did end up purchasing my guitar today. I tweeted a picture of that out to you guys, so you can take a look at it there.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm borrowing one of Joe's, so it's good. It works. I had I had to go on a late night run for strings though, and we got these like Adam Levine strings.
I saw that.
I broke it in my hand, but it made it though. I attached them, and then the extra little part of the string I was wrapping a little more around, and it just snapped. And I was like, "Oh God!"
I can almost guarantee, as new guitar players, you will break a string.
I've broken strings before.
See, I played a bunch on
you
Christians and yours, and I've never broken a string. But then again, I'm going to be doing a lot of tuning and changing
I
stuff.
think I've broken 3 strings in my life.
I've broken many. I don't think I can count. Well, in general,
count?
but I can't count how
We
many
wouldn't be able
strings.
to remember all of them.
Yeah, exactly. So is that all you've been doing twice? There's no other game?
Is there
Is there this week?
other game?
What can I do for you, Schweiss?
Oh, I mentioned 10-2.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
you did.
hear it.
I said I played it for
like
like
4 hours.
4 hours on Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
But that's about
So
it.
what have you been
10-2,
playing,
it's
Joe?
Final Fantasy X version 2.
It's a sequel.
It's a sequel to Final Fantasy X. As you know, as you may or may not know, all the Final Fantasy games are not actually connected.
I know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So in order to make a sequel to one of the Roman numeraled ones, you got to get creative with your titles.
Yeah, so it's like X-2.
You know, it's just going to look like some really crappy user's manual. Now, this is section A, subsection BC.
X2.
And then you have to have one of these to find out which Final Fantasy game you're picking up. Okay, so this is Final Fantasy. This is Roman numeral 14. All right, subgenre. It's never the Final Fantasy.
You guys want to hear this? So I got a dumbass cousin, right? And this guy is so dumb he can't read a clock.
Huh.
He is
Fun stuff.
17 and can't read a fucking clock. And we made it doubly hard because my mom has a Roman numeraled clock on the wall. And we were like, he was the only one near it. It's like, Tony, or excuse me, whatever his name is, what's the time? And he was like, he looked at it for a little while and then he like pulled out his phone. It's like, and then I looked at him and was like, you can't read a clock? He's like, no, I can read a clock. Like, he was getting all the he can't fucking read a clock.
I think one of my sisters or someone I know can't either. And I was just like,
How fucking dumb do you have to be? We learned how to do that, what, first grade? If you had to learn in school how to do that?
Yeah. Admittedly, most of
because-
it's digital or
It's
analog
because
now.
you're on that phone all the time. You can't read
No,
a
it's
clock
because
on
of
the
shitty
wall.
parents.
You
That's
know,
what it's
I
'cause.
actually, one of my old phones, I had the option to have a digital clock or no, a numbered
Analog
clock.
clock?
Yeah, analog clock, and I had it because it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a
analog
digital
clocks are
analog
awesome.
clock. I was like, yeah, this is amazing.
It's like, how the fuck do you not know how to read a clock, though? Like,
This is like one of
it's
the
not
first
like
things
we
you
invented
learn.
phones and then pulled all the clocks off.
Yeah, like, all right, we don't need these anymore.
You know, when I had to take Spanish in high school, they also taught me how to read the clock in Spanish. So I was like, okay, so you have like 2 opportunities to learn that. I don't know.
Isn't that just all the numbers in Spanish?
Yeah, but they taught you how to do it through learning how to do it on the clock.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's how they taught you the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, so you only know 1 through 12? Is that telling me?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's a good learning.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What is it? Once, doce? I can't fucking speak Spanish.
yeah.
Obviously, to those who do know.
I think I could go really far in German, actually.
Ich Nissan Shiongo.
But
Q.
yeah. So,
Ux, Cox, Scorum, Nelly, Vis.
what about you, Joe? What are you
This
doing
is
up
the
to?
podcast where we just list out
all the words we
numbers.
know in foreign languages.
It's bad pronunciation of languages that
all
we
of you-
may or may not
I got
know.
all of you guys beat on that, so.
Well, how far can you go?
In a language,
Yeah, in Estonian.
I can go as high as I want to go.
As high as you. What's 3 million?
It is.
Yeah, you got me beat, huh?
I can't, man. Okay, I can't remember
Our
the word
numbers
for
hard,
million,
Cam.
but they're a little bit harder. But it's
Like I know there's suffixes
too
for
hot.
those kind of things. Or
too hot.
too hot.
Too hot is 1,000. Sada is 100. I think it's just like some form of million. It's like
Too
million.
hot is 100.
I think it's million.
It's fucking awesome.
No, too hot is 1,000. It's
too hot.
X too hot is
Like
1,000.
if you look on a thermometer and it's in Fahrenheit and they're like it's reaching to the 100.
You mean
too
the
hot.
1,000? No, sada.
That's where it came from, right?
No,
right?
sada is 100.
Way too
Too
hot,
hot is 1,000. Too hot is
Too hot is 1,000.
So it's
That's
way too hot. Yeah.
We found this planet. It's too hot. Cannot go there.
That's pretty good. I've been playing Final Fantasy X-2 exclusively.
Ew.
I've been
Committed
hiking.
relationship.
I wake up, I go hike, and then I play 10-2 for a little bit, and I'm almost finished.
Oh, nice.
And we are in a quandary, me and you, Schweiss. Do we want to talk about that on Nude Clan? About our Ultimate Final Fantasy quandary?
I don't know. I don't not want to talk about it. So if you want to, we can, I guess.
Okay, well, what's the quandary then? Because it's your quandary.
Well, I mean, first off, I want to kind of give a moment of silence here, remembering Joe's trip.
I'm still doing it, you fuckface.
Oh, man. This is a memory of Joe's trip.
Are you going to do this every week I'm here for the next 4 weeks?
I think we have to.
You should join us so I can slander your name. No, so the idea was Joe was going to, go on his trip where he was gone the whole time and not playing any games, and I was going to use that time to platinum Final Fantasy X too. However, Joe is not gone the whole time. He's still doing a lot of hiking, admittedly, so, you can do a day's worth of hiking and then come home and play a game. And that's what's happening. So now it's up to me whether or not I want to keep on that schedule, platinum 10-2, and then we move on, or beat 10-2, move on to 11, have the review for 10-2 come out when when the next episode is due, and then we move on to 11 as soon as possible, or kind of a middle ground.
We have 3 episodes pre-recorded, or like 2.5 episodes pre-recorded for Ultima. And so it's like the 10-2 review would come out when it comes out anyway.
Right.
But you're getting basically 2 less weeks, I think.
And I'm not sure if I want to do that or not, because I want to move on to 11, because 11 is going to take us a little while, and I want to get that taken care of over the summer, because that's when we have time.
Right. That's kind of the thing. It's like, well, we could get started with 11 early, and it's during the summer, and that's, we're playing an MMO. We'll probably have some sort of schedule we got to keep to it, or at least something loose.
Yeah.
And so it's probably best to do that not during the school year.
Oh, definitely. Plus, I don't know. I want to platinum 10-2, but I don't want to push back the podcast for that necessarily. So I think I might just finish the game up, do as much as I can in a couple weeks, and then we just record 10-2's review live when we're supposed to in 3 weeks' time.
Caleb Craig, what is your opinion on this?
On what you should do?
Yeah.
Well, you should probably just go with 11. Because Caleb, you'll always have time to go back and platinum 10-2.
Yeah?
Yeah, you don't have to be tripling up on games by playing, Doom with Cam and Dylan.
I never said I was playing Doom.
Well, I know, but you do have a tendency to double up on games to try to beat me in the Nude Clan thing.
Yeah, but that's
so I'm just saying that you have the opportunity to, instead of doubling up or tripling up, you can just play 10-2 to platinum.
Caleb Craig has all this free time, and it's just we just can't beat it.
Yeah.
No one can beat Caleb Craig's free time. I can right now. I can.
So you're gonna win.
I go hike for 3 or 4 hours, and then I come home and I got nothing.
You should beat games then.
I beat 10-2, and I think I'm.
You beat it?
No, I'm close to beating it. Sorry.
It's like, when?
I said I beat it, and I was wrong.
I talked to you yesterday, and you came over.
No, I'm on. I think I have 3 more final bosses to go through.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm in the final area.
It's pretty good.
I went back and got a dress sphere that I had missed.
Did you get the trophy for all of them?
No.
Oh.
There's a dress sphere that takes a lot of chocobo breeding, and I don't want to do it.
Oh, okay.
No need.
So my party is now 2 Dark Knights and a White Mage.
Oh,
and I had to go back and get the Dark Knight thing because I wanted higher damage, and that's how you get it. You get a better dress sphere for it. Cameron, what's your opinion on what we should do?
I don't know. I don't have one.
Have an opinion.
God damn it, Capcom.
Well, I think it's clear. I'm going to play as much of 10.2 as I can in the coming weeks, and then once it's time to review 10.2, we'll jump on Twitch and we'll review 10.2.
Okay, so we got 2 Nobuo Uematsu episodes coming out for Ultima, and then we'll have we got an episode with the listener that comes out after that.
Right, and we'll also review the Eternal Column
Yeah, exactly.
during that episode because it's a little bit shorter.
Yeah,
Behind the scenes.
exactly. There you go. So, I think I've always kind of thought that's what you should do, but if you really want to platinum it, I have no problem just waiting a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
I mean, because technically you were supposed to be gone for 5 weeks, and then you were going to come back and play the game. And
right.
maybe a
So
week
it was going to give you 8 weeks.
and then, it went from 2 months to like 3 weeks. And I was like, I don't know, man. I got DmC. I have to at least get more trophies than Craig.
The game goes quick when you got nothing to do.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
sure.
be honest.
So you should start, okay, I do have an opinion. You should start working on your hog status. Blow it out of the
Me?
park. Yeah.
Fuck you.
You're the only,
Yeah, you can play Doom
You're
with,
the only one
Dylan
who
and,
has enough free time to
Cam.
beat the Caleb if you don't want him to win.
And we have 2 shows, so.
So Dylan's going to take care of the Doom thing, but I think
Yeah.
the games after that, I think we should nominate a couple games. It's me and you, right? After Cameron and Dylan?
Wasn't it you and...
No, it's not me. I have.
Not me? Okay, so yeah, I think it was you
Yeah,
and
it's
then.
me and you in a month from now.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to have some nominees by the end of this episode.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be fine.
All right. Okay.
Okay, anybody beat a game this week?
We forgot what I was playing. Yeah.
Oh, what have you been playing?
I
thought you went first.
No, I didn't.
Oh, sorry.
I let
I
Cam
watched
go
him.
first.
I watched him play
Jesus.
some games.
Yeah, so the only thing that I've been playing this week is Overwatch. I got that a little bit before it came out, and then downloaded it, and then streamed. The first time that I played, playing all the different characters, that was pretty fun. Streamed it for like 4 hours.
So if I'm watching him play Overwatch on Twitch, am I overwatching his Overwatch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Overwatchception.
See, now, if you say a shitty joke, I should point it out then.
Yeah.
Because you did that to me all the time.
I know.
Which, by the way, you would fail at improv, I'm pretty sure. Like, the whole point of improv is the yes and. Like, if someone has a way that they're going, you're supposed to go with them, no matter what it is. And you were so shitty at that, Cameron. You're so shitty at
Because I don't want to go with your stupid puns?
It's not my puns necessarily. It's
Yeah.
just go with me. Just go with me on this. We can go on this adventure.
Just allow it to happen. The only issue is that you just have to like keep.
The only issue is that you're
push it
filled
into the ground.
filled with shame, Cameron, is what you're filled with.
And it's all directed at Joe.
And every bit of shame that you feel, you have to you're like, oh, this person is going out on a limb with something,
No,
and
okay,
thus I must take part of the shame that I feel as I walk around all day, and I must give it to you.
Okay, no, you're pulling out of your ass. So if you actually have a good pun, I will laugh with you.
Okay.
I enjoy
All right.
a good pun.
Is there really
But it's
such thing as a
just-
good pun?
Yes, there is such a thing as a good pun. It's just Joe. He'll take the same fucking pun, and he will just fucking slap you in the face with it again and again until he gets the reaction he wants.
Beat it into the dust. Yeah, that's probably fair. I guess.
All right, well, whatever. I'm just saying. I am just saying.
So, what are your initial impressions of Overwatch?
It's really fucking good,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, and I was playing with Bill Mardigan, and it's a lot more fun when there's more people, especially on the team chat. You can coordinate moves and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And when you have more people, you get more experience after the match. So when he and I partnered up, we got 20% more
Oh, cool.
after each match, which is pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, I really like Overwatch, and the fact that all future updates and DLCs are free is another huge bonus towards that game.
Another huge boner for the win.
Yeah.
So no new beats though.
No,
No new
I haven't
beats?
beat anything this week.
Did you beat something?
Did you beat Devil May Cry this year?
Beats by
Yeah.
Craig.
The first time?
Yeah, I beat it
Oh man,
a few weeks ago.
you didn't call me out on that one.
Wait, for the first time
For the first time this year?
ever?
No. It was for the first time this year, though.
Oh, so you did count it before. God damn it.
That counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beats by
I'm sorry.
I beat it
So Caleb
year
Craig is
ago.
still ahead. That's
2 years ago.
what I'm getting to.
Well, I do get one added to mine though.
Did you add it
For
already?
DMC?
No, I didn't.
Okay. What'd you beat?
Devil May Cry. That's the only one.
Okay. So now Caleb is still ahead, and you're up by 1. I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
Just a question on the side. With this Rocksmith, when do we count it as beaten? Is there ever I've beaten this game?
Yeah, is there a completion?
With Rocksmith, okay. Well, we can talk. Your 60-day challenge.
Right.
We'll just count that.
Well, let's count that as beat.
If we do it.
I think there has to be a
you
certain
can platinum
level.
the game.
See, with games like that where there's no clear end, you have to.
Well, yeah, okay.
define
So
something
what
as the
should
end.
we do with a game that doesn't have like a campaign or something like a Battlefront, Rocksmith, or even Overwatch,
I think with
which is
Battlefront, you
entirely
have to beat all the
multiplayer?
challenges, and you can count it as beat. Like,
Okay, so all the missions, you have to at least beat them one time.
because that's super easy, though.
Is that super?
Are you talking get all the
It's
stars?
the
Because that's fucked up. One's super easy and one's fucked up.
Oh man, the stars.
Yeah, it's sick. We played so many fucking hours.
Should we just
of that
go like
soulless-
a certain amount of hours into the
It's
game?
all down
If
to the
it's
last,
just something like that?
one.
There's no campaign in that game. That's weird.
What about Battle? Okay,
Because also with Civ 5, there's no campaign
Max
in that, but you
level.
can
There
do. There's not a clear campaign. You can do like little missions,
when you
but
do
there's
all the
no
missions.
like actual.
You can play
campaign.
a single player thing and do a thing and then play it to the end.
That's
of the
technically a
world.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
Okay,
do that all
I've
the
got-
time in multiplayer.
I've
So
got it for
technically-
Battlefront, level 50. You reach the maximum level.
Oh,
You
okay,
beat it.
that's it.
That's going to take a long time.
Is there any
Level
prestige?
50, it's also the max. in
Would I
Overwatch.
say
Would you
over
count that as beating it?
100%? Over 100% for every Rocksmith song?
Ooh.
Truly
How can you
beating
get
it?
over 100%?
So
Or is it going through all the
saying,
lessons?
No. What he's saying is you actually have to be a proficient guitar player in order to have the game beat, which is probably the goal of the game in the first place. So if you achieve what the goal is, and that's being able to play the guitar, then you've
It's
beat.
very odd. The original Rocksmith had a track, and this one
campaign.
doesn't. Yeah, it's not really a campaign, but you just kind of play what's next in the queue.
Oh, okay.
It's guided, and this one's not. That's. I talked about this last time. That's what kind of bugs me about it.
Well, what
2014
I'm going to do,
only
this
thing
is
that
something
bugs
we
me
need to
about
talk about, Caleb. What I was planning on doing was going online to see if someone else has a preferred method for the 60-day challenge, and then if I find one, if we both should play the same method, or we should just do what we want to do in the game, and they'll see who does
Just
it better.
do like 3 lessons a day, and then play some songs.
That's what Joe says.
That's what Joe says. Joe is your guitar teacher now. Do 3 lessons a day and play.
Joe is
How
your
many
guitar
lessons are
teacher
there?
now, bitch.
A shitload.
Well, there are 180 lessons because there needs to be.
I don't
There's
know.
3 a day.
You'll be proficient.
You're
at
going to run me
guitar.
out of lessons. Okay, I feel it.
Well, if you're adolescents, go play songs.
I'm not adolescent.
Out of lessons.
Yeah, you are.
You just proved it.
So, Caleb Craig is ahead on the Hog status list by 2. Caleb Schweiss follows behind with 11 games, so you hit 13.
Oh, I
11
need that
games.
Doom.
I
not gonna be a
am
very long
still at
game.
8 games, and then Cameron is still at
Like if you
5.
grind on Doom, you'll be done in like 3 days.
grind on
Grind.
Doom.
Yeah.
You don't grind on Doom.
It
That's
feels
the
like
problem.
grinding to me. That's the mindset. When I play a game like that, it's like a mental thing where it just feels like I'm grinding just to get the game beat.
Like against
Against-
someone's leg or
No, it's just like
pole.
it feels
A
like
pole.
a chore is what it
The
does.
cyber demon.
Like grinding is a chore in order to level up, but playing this game is a chore to beat it.
Well, that's the only way we can get access to the new Doom. We have to beat Doom 2,
know.
Doom 3,
Yep.
and then Doom.
Final Doom? Are you going to play Final Doom, the expansion for Doom 2?
I don't know. I have Doom 2, I think.
I mean,
think
our
have the
stances
disc.
on expansions have always been played if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we haven't really gone through much in the show, though. I mean, the only other chance we've had to do the sequel in a game is last review.
Yeah.
Was
Doom.
Devil... All right, dude.
Diablo 2.
Jesus Christ, yes, Diablo 2.
So when I say grind, since I'm not a Final Fantasy player, when I say grind, I mean something like the daily grind, where it's just like you go in there, you put in your time, and then
Slave
you're done.
away.
Yeah,
That's how it
what
feels
like.
sometimes with Final Fantasy, like the online ones.
Well, that's why they call it grinding, is because it is. You're just going in, putting your time to get what you need.
See, I always thought it's because it's grinding upon your, like,
Your psyche.
Your psyche.
Yeah, it's all the same thing. Yeah, you're grinding.
It's like sandpaper doing the fucking level ups.
Or if you think about it, when you grind in Metal Shop, you're refining. Think about it that way.
Making it better. Unless you suck and then you mess it up and grind too much.
Yeah, you can grind too much and have problems.
And then it's not fun
But
anymore.
it's not possible to grind too much in Final Fantasy.
It is if you want to have a climactic ending.
Yeah, otherwise it's just going to be too easy.
I one-shot the 10.
Sorry, I'm too effective for the game.
The end of Final Fantasy X.
So the issue is being too effective, and that's
two hits,
a non-issue.
2 hits, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 hits. Only because I made it 2 hits. I could have made it 1 if I wanted to. But I wanted to use 2 of my limit breaks.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So do we have a question this week? Oh, real quick, plugs. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGaulier.
Me at Obsidian Ba.
Me at Nude Clan Cam.
At UFF Podcast.
Do you regret calling your thing Nude Clan Cam?
Not a single day goes by where I actually regret it. So I love
Okay,
it.
that's good. That's good.
So you just don't think about it?
Dude, it's
you
Nude
got
Clan.
only, like,
It has to
11
be-
followers?
In my opinion, Nude Clan is awesome because it's who we are, and we're a little outrageous most of the time. So I am 100% okay.
People
with
are going to be trying to get porn, like Twitter porn, through following your thing and being like, oh.
You should just have links to Twitter
Dude, no,
porn.
this
Cam
is
Cam.
this is Nude Clan Camp for your latest in video game porn, but not actual
Hashtag-
porn.
VR
Hashtag
porn.
topless.
No porn. So this is the porn in the sense that it's gratuitous video game fun.
No, Cam, you should just like go through all the video games and find like video game porn and just be like
Even
sending
when I
links.
stream, you guys, no.
Those accounts exist, and Cameron doesn't need to add to
No,
it.
I do not want to be a cancer account. No, but see, when I stream or when I play games, you guys don't know if I'm actually nude when I'm doing it, so it fits.
There you go. Yeah, he could be nude Clan.
I am half the time.
Oh,
Are you really?
The other day when I was playing Overwatch, I was only in my underwear.
and I was talking to you. I feel filthy.
And Caleb, we've seen Caleb's underwear. It's like rags. They're just like,
Can't hold on much longer.
Wow. We do have a
Caleb,
a
you need to go
question,
shopping
though.
for clothes. It's like you need new clothes.
yeah.
You walk in here with your capris on.
Whatever.
So Caleb's jeans are about 6 inches too short. He came in today and we were like, Caleb Schweiss is just like, Cameron's taking a picture of his guitar to tweet it. Caleb Schweiss goes, look at that slob. And I thought he was talking about Cameron. And I was looking at Cameron and then I saw Caleb like come out from behind the doorway as he's coming to this town. Cause I guess the door was open. And Caleb, his pants are about 6 inches too short. So we're seeing ankle. He has dress shoes. He has slip-on dress shoes on.
They're not dress shoes, they're work shoes.
With white socks. They're black shoes with white socks and a
then 4 inches of
fantastically
skin.
like 6-year-old Mountain Dew t-shirt on.
This is actually a new Mountain Dew t-shirt.
It's cracking. I see that. That's not
It's
a
supposed
nude.
to be that way.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
supposed to look
faded.
like a
Design.
shitty old shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's
I'll
styled
take.
that way.
All right. It's a style.
All right, so the shirt's the new thing.
And then Caleb's like,
Yeah.
I can't wear it at my waist because I don't have a belt.
Yeah.
So
I
he's
don't. I don't
wearing
have a
it.
belt.
He's
And
wearing
I
it
didn't
like
have
it's
any other
the
clothes,
like it's
so-
the mid '80s, and it's just like it's up to here. He looks like Urkel.
How do you know it's not the mid 80s?
Oh shit!
Actually, that's a good question.
yeah,
How do we know? How do we know anything that we think we know? God damn it, Caleb! Why'd you have to bring this to the
Going
table
up
today?
the ass, up your own ass. All right, what is our question for today?
All right, so this one is from Minzara. It's about first-person shooters. He says, even though I hate FPS, and I figured you all would start talking about them anyway, I have listened to the show now and can get past the FPS talk. Please no FPS talk on UFF, though. Anyway, here's the question. I used to be a big FPS fan, playing games like Doom, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, etc. However, quickly they became stale to me. In his opinion, the first-person shooter genre hasn't really evolved
Nothing like a real gun.
past these games. Yes, they add RPG elements or spells or fancy guns, but in the end, you're still using the basic same controls and shooting things. Example of this was me playing BioShock after not playing an FPS for 10 years. I smoked the game and didn't find it hard at all,
because of all the time I played GoldenEye. It was basically the same game to me with a different story and weapons, and you had powers.
That's a pretty different game from just describing it that way.
Now, think about this. Let's compare JRPGs like FF, Persona, Dragon Quest, etc. They're all very different games compared to first-person shooter.
No, they're not.
Now, let's do fighting games. Mortal
those
Kombat,
first two, no.
Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and King of Fighters, all very different in a lot of ways. Now, let's compare COD, Battlefield, and BioShock. Yes, they have different stories, weapons, and some you have special ability. However, they play the same. You can go from Call of Duty and then to BioShock and pick it right up. After explaining that, why do you think FPS are so popular? Why do you all enjoy them? I'm really curious because I truly don't understand. They all seem so uninspired.
I don't enjoy every first-person shooter.
I don't either.
There is a strong difference between playing the original Doom versus playing 007.
The original Doom
versus playing Call of Duty versus playing Halo.
Or Battlefield. They're totally different.
And it's not necessarily... I realize they're all first-person shooters, so they're going to have the element of you move around in the direction that you're facing and you're going to pull a trigger to shoot wherever your sight is at, right?
If you just go to look at the history of first-person shooters and how like the mechanics behind it have changed to where instead of it being a ray emitting from your gun, but an actual projectile leaving your gun, into what Battlefield does with bullet drop over distance and stuff. Like, you can't be a hardcore Call of Duty player and then picking up Battlefield the first time. You could be an okay run and gunner, but the actual mechanics of it, you have to learn in order to be really good.
You can still do well.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to switch to Battlefield from Call of Duty.
I mean, I agree. First-person shooters get boring, which is why I haven't picked up a brand new COD game in a long time. It's boring to me. But then Battlefield 1 coming out, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, it does bring something new to it. But all of the landmark first-person shooters, they're all different.
Yeah, BioShock doesn't play the same as Call of Duty.
No, it doesn't.
And then with BioShock, it isn't even really supposed to be first-person shooter. Like, it has other elements to it. I mean, with the magic, and you can use the freaking monkey wrench the entire time. That doesn't make it a first-person shooter. I mean, you could just do that the entire fucking time,
It's
which
like playing
I did.
Oblivion, right?
Yeah, like playing Oblivion. You could just call Oblivion an FPS if you wanted to go by that.
Yeah,
But
Doom. You can't say that Doom is the same as Battlefield 4.
No.
Doom is a two-dimensional plane where if you think you might be able to shoot it because it looks like it's in front of you, you can shoot it.
Yeah, because in Doom you don't even aim. You just point your gun in front of you.
Yeah,
and that's it.
if it looks like it might in some weird way hit him, it's fucking strange.
So here's what I would say. I mean, you played BioShock after not playing it, and I don't think anybody thinks that BioShock is a hard game.
No,
It's pretty much meant to be easy, and there's the impossible version, the difficulty.
Yeah, there's tough difficulties.
And then you can turn off the.
I didn't think it was a tough game, but
No, but I agree.
But I would say play a modern shooter for a little while, and then go ahead and play GoldenEye for a little bit.
Yeah, see how
and you're gonna realize, oh yeah, there are changes. They may be subtle over time, the changes in shooters. With the exception of Battlefield and Call of Duty, but if you're playing Call of Duty and then you switch to Halo 5, it's gonna feel pretty similar,
well,
right?
see, yeah. So it's Halo and Call of Duty, I think, are more similar now than they were before.
Which is a bad thing, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's a very bad thing. Which is why, our generation of gamers don't like the new Call of Duties, not at all. But then if you're playing Battlefield with the right mindset, it's a completely different game than Call of Duty, because you're working with the team, but you're working with sub teams within your team towards the goal.
I'll tell you,
it's really fun.
I'll tell you one thing too. When I want to do better in COD, I jump on Battlefield and play that for 4 or 5 hours. And then when I jump back on Call of Duty, I just lay waste. Because Battlefield is so much fucking harder to play. It's so much more precise and just different, more difficult.
It has to do more with physics and feel than I think the genre changed.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
because he might have a point in that the basicness of it hasn't really changed since, I wouldn't say Doom, but I would say Quake.
Yeah, Quake. Oh man,
it hasn't really changed since Quake.
Which is why, as a first person, if you love the genre, you mix it up with other
It's also
genres.
inherent, though. I mean, how can you not have a similar interface as a first-person viewpoint? You kind of have to have that. A
It's
JRPG,
what can you really
can
expand
do
off of?
anything.
Pretty much any genre is going to share a lot of similarities with other games in its genre. Like there's not a whole lot of differences. I mean, you're gonna have like different mechanics, but the overall stuff is gonna be the same.
Yeah, I mean, with JRPGs, you're gonna have some anime character designs. You're gonna have grinding. You're gonna have stats. You're gonna have upgrades. You're gonna have a job class of sorts, weapon exchanging. That's all stuff that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, and then
every
basically
time,
every fighting game is going to be pretty much similar too. I mean, like
they're similar.
There's differences in mechanics too. Like they'll be slower, or they'll have like the differences between like the flat plane, like Mortal Kombat, and then Soul Calibur, where it's like the
control schemes will be different as well.
Yeah, like that. But they're pretty much the same basic concept. You can pick one up like after playing a different one.
You'll always have your preference on what game you're best at.
It's true. You always have
I don't play Battlefield,
but they're all pretty much the same.
No, but if you think about it, how he says that first-person shooters are one of the more popular games out there right now. And the reason for that is it's true. You don't have to invest a lot of time into it to have basically what everyone else has.
Right.
To gain the skill to play it and stuff. And I think a lot of people like that who don't have a lot of time to play video games. So
a lot of people already play already.
Fun, sit down, have fun, and then you don't have to worry about, I need to get this and this and this. I have to grind for hours and hours to get that.
I would argue that first-person shooters especially, they, along with, I would say, MMORPGs, they have that social element involved.
Yeah.
And so
getting together with the friends to go play.
So, yeah, there's something about like, we all need to buy this game so that we can all play it together.
Yeah, we got a PS4, and I was like, dude, you should get Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
Do I think Advanced Warfare is a great game? Not really, but it's fun.
Yeah, online it lags like shit if you have more than one PS4 at home.
Yeah, it's bad.
We had the best internet ever, the best Wi-Fi ever.
The best.
You put more than one console in the fucking place, and it's like,
how about 3 consoles?
You can't fucking do it. That's what pisses me off about Advanced Warfare. It's like they didn't work on the online very well.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that.
They might have. There might be
hand.
patches since then that have helped it.
I tried my hand at Battlefield. At Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It's just too gimmicky now. Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, you can like a genre, you can dislike a genre. To me, it's like the shooters, they probably evolve less than the RPGs that he's talking about.
Well, see, yeah.
Like,
that's
per
his
generation.
Point, is that generation to generation, there's not as much of a difference.
Yeah.
And so remember how with rhythm games, how there wasn't a much different, very much difference between, new game to new game. And that's kind of what contributed to it stales out and people stopped buying it.
Right.
But with these first-person shooters, I guess, they just get more powerful. You add more people. You add...
yeah, and the physics gets slightly better or worse, however you feel that. I think
wall running.
I think Halo 2 had the best physics of any game ever, and then everything's gone downhill since then, but I know I am in the minority with that thought.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
Halo 2.
You know what I heard? Actually, there's a big thing about the new Call of Duty games. They're still using a modified Quake engine. So the engine is exactly the same as it was in Quake.
Wow.
And this dude proved that it was the same engine as it was in Quake. And it's like Quake was the first kind of first-person shooter engine
Quake,
that's post-Doom. So
yeah, it's like 3D.
It has the actual 3D, exactly. So like they've modified it so it can handle different things, right? But there were like special keys in the text to make them different colors, and it's like a very, very like deep part of the engine, and it's still there. And that was like their way of going, oh no, they didn't make any new engines for any of these Call of Duty games. This is still an old ass engine that they're using for this game.
Well,
why the fuck is it taking them like 3 years to make a new Call of Duty now? That's why they're
talking about?
They're cycling it with 3 different companies. Each company is making one every 3 years.
They still increase the graphics. I mean,
yeah, but that's still like.
But people have complained that they're like they advertise having new engines, but then they can prove that they don't have a new engine.
Well,
yeah,
so
I
what
can
is
see
it? But in the world of programming, a lot of times you can take pieces of something else to help build something of your own. It happens all the time in programming. They have entire libraries online where you can say, oh hey, someone already has this working, and I like that, and they've sourced it online for anyone to use. You just grab that source text, and there you go, you're good to go. I can see if that works well, and it'll have a more efficient way of doing it, then why not keep using it?
I don't disagree, but you can't just say you're using a modified Quake engine and you're going, oh, it's a brand new engine. Like that's
but
one of your
what is the
advertising.
point? Where does it reach the point where it's no longer a modified version of this to where it's different enough that it can be its own thing using pieces of it?
I don't know.
So
when they pull a Final Fantasy and make their own fucking engine for the game. That's when.
Do they start from fucking ground zero?
Yes, they do.
Do not use any code from anywhere else.
So
if they have a
start
mechanic
from
that
ground
works,
zero.
if they have mechanics, I bet you they're still copying and pasting certain aspects that work as a framework.
I'm sure some has got to be. There's certain code that just stays, you know.
Yeah, there's just a certain way you build something. That's how programming works.
We would have to ask a engineer.
Yeah,
we need
have
an
no
engineer.
fucking idea.
If
but-
any of our listeners an engineer want to give us a tweet or a comment, please feel free to do so.
A tweeter?
Yeah, I don't know. First-person shooters, they're not fun if you're not good, I don't think, or if you can't do well or don't like the social aspect.
Oh, man. Let me tell you stories about playing Call of Duty World at War with Caleb Craig on easy. We couldn't get past, like, the first fucking level.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh.
You were doing
Caleb.
shit too.
No.
It's not just me.
I was doing shit because I had to keep running and
Grasping
reviving
that
your
strap.
ass.
Bullshit.
Okay, Craig used to
I'm gonna
suck.
revive your ass.
Craig used to suck so bad at first-person shooters.
It's
he
true.
was
I
the
was. I was
worst
pretty bad.
by a mile, but now he's actually okay.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot.
He's gotten a lot better. It was surprising when I was like, wow, you actually are able to kill me like over and over again here. This is crazy. You know, so I give him credit for that, but he was pretty poor in the beginning. So it's a thing where if you don't like social gaming and you're not good at them, you probably won't like them. I mean, it's not fun to just get your ass kicked over and over again. It happens to me a lot in first person
there's
shooters.
something. I mean, when you're facing a computer, you know, you it's different than when you're facing an actual person,
Another person,
who thinks up their own strategies that you have to, you know, account for. So I like that aspect.
Yeah,
So
and playing with somebody else is always much better than just playing by yourself. I mean, it's always fun, but it's like, you know, I'd
Humans are
rather
social
play with
creatures.
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you like FPS then, Craig? Are you still a fan?
Certain FPSs, I don't mind.
Would you play Battlefront with it or Battlefield with us?
Battlefield 1.
Yeah, or 4 or whatever.
I'm interested
I played
in playing
Battlefield
that
4
new
with you guys.
Battlefield.
dude, it's
When is that coming out?
I think it was late this year.
Yeah, it was later this year. I think
Well, it might
September?
be able to be one of our
I'll have to look it
group
up online.
games.
Yeah.
If it's September, that's perfect.
I think it is September. I think it was around that time.
Well, they're going to E3.
Because it was
E3 is in July.
Yeah, E3.
But I don't know if they're just announcing it.
They already announced it.
So we're seeing if there's what the
think-
release date is.
I think they're going to have a playable.
Okay, well we can
thing
talk
for it.
about
Anyway.
talk about that in news. I think actually. Shall we get to our Devil May Cry review?
Yeah, we should.
Young Offenders Rehabilitation Program. Subject 64432B. Psychoevaluation treatment. Day 13. Resume. What is your name? I will ask you again. What is your name? My name is Dante.
All right, welcome to our review of Devil May Cry.
Welcome back to the podcast you've been listening to.
Yeah. We've been here the whole time.
What are you talking about, Caleb?
All right. Anyway, a little bit of history on DmC. It is a hack and slash action game developed by Ninja Theory, published by Capcom. DmC is technically the 5th game in the series, but it is a reboot.
Of what series?
Devil May Cry.
Okay, there we go.
You already knew that, though.
I did, but maybe some guy wasn't paying attention to the first 5 minutes of this
You
podcast.
do say DMC kind of fast, like DMC.
Anyway, it's supposed to take place in like an alternate universe from the original series, and that's why they can get away with making or continuing the older series, as I've heard that they're going to do.
Okay.
Capcom chose Ninja Theory to make the game because they were impressed with their work on Heavenly Sword, which they thought that type of game would work with the Devil May Cry series.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Capcom worked alongside Ninja Theory to kind of make sure that the gameplay was reminiscent of the older games of the series, but they wanted to make it different enough that it would be special, so it wouldn't be like a complete copy of the older games.
Right. Why reboot it if you're going to do the same thing kind of thing?
Yeah. The game started to receive a lot of flack, mostly because the fans did not like the design of the new Dante. Which is a really dumb...
Dante's the main character?
Yeah, he's the main character.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's a really dumb basis to judge a game on. Like, I don't like how they mess with my favorite character of this series, so I'm just gonna not.
especially if it's purely aesthetics.
Yeah, like that's pretty much the only reason I've ever heard anybody hating on this game is because like, they messed with Dante, so I'm not gonna play it.
It's like, guess what? The first one came out in 2001. Suck it the fuck up. This is not 01.
Yeah, critics and
Shit
even
looks
like
better.
new fans of the series really enjoyed the game. They praised it for like its gameplay, the art style, the story, and even the music.
Sounded like he was in a club the whole time he was playing.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, but because the fan hate was so heavy at the beginning of the release, it did not do as well. And then they later released the definitive edition, like 2 years later, which did better, and that's when Capcom got the desired profits from it that they wanted.
So they did end up making money.
People
on it.
started
They did end up making money, yeah.
realizing it was a decent game to go play, just get over your freaking hurt feelings.
Yeah, basically. That's what it seems like.
The Ninja Theory had originally made, or they were going to make Dante's more similar to the older version, but Capcom specifically told them not to do that.
Oh, so the creators of the original Dante told them to not make it look like their Dante.
Yeah, they specifically told them to do that so that it would appeal to a younger audience and to like a wider audience other than people who are just fans of the super Japanesey type thing.
Japanesey.
Yeah, Japanesey.
I would call it more like he looks like the original one looks like the lead singer to AFI. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
The Miss Murder music video where he looks like Hitler almost. I don't know. He kind of reminds me of that sort of style, the original Dante. And this one I saw Caleb playing earlier, and he looks like Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit.
He just needs to go to space, and it'll be Matt Damon.
Yeah, they just spent billions of dollars trying to get him back from Mars.
Yeah.
And then, so while the original Dante was like the character from like a more Japanese perspective, they tried to make the character from more of a Western perspective. And the redesign was so hated that members of the Ninja Theory staff actually got death threats. Some of them in the form of like comic books and apparently a metal song.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know where you
I
could
bet you
find
there's
that,
probably
but,
some fat fuck that really loved the first one that probably couldn't kill somebody if he had a gun.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous that to like send
I'm gonna
death
kill
threats
you
because
for
you
this.
don't like the way that they changed the character.
Song about my feelings because I'm hardcore pussy.
It sounds like whatever it
Five-Finger
is.
Death
Yeah, it's
Punch.
Five-Finger Death Punch. Definitely, I was gonna go with it.
Don't fuck with me.
Yeah, and then the early reception for the game was especially negative with the original game creator and the voice actor for Dante from the third and fourth games kind of bagging on the game before its release, So there was a lot of hate from that too. But although later the producer of the game said that it became a little bit more positive, and the voice actor actually changed his tune a little bit and said that he would like players to actually try the game.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
They probably sent him a death threat.
Try it. Yeah.
Like a severed limb.
Developer may cry.
Yeah. Voice actor will cry. Oh, God.
All right, so would you have a little bit of the story overview, Caleb?
Yeah, of course. So the game is set in an alternate reality of the series, as Caleb mentioned earlier. It takes place in Limbo City, which is a modern-day, secretly controlled by demons sort of city. And they basically manipulate humanity through all the comforts of life. They have like this epic energy drink that they
the virility, the special soda.
It's a soda that like people, it's like the most popular drink in the world, and it like controls your mind, and you just are blind to the surroundings. It's very dystopian almost. It reminds me of like
Idiocracy a little bit with the drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. It's weird. And so essentially living on the fringes of this thing, Dante, he's a young man who's at odds with the demons, so he knows about them. They're always trying to hunt him down. He doesn't know why. And he ends up getting in contact with this girl. Her name's Kat, and she tells him, she's like, "Hey, you've been found by the mega demons."
She's like from the 90s, and it's called Cat with a little black choke around her neck.
Yeah, it's hot. It is pretty fucking hot. And then
Does she have a black choker?
No. She,
okay, good.
She looks like the kind of girl that would, though, and like want you.
She actually does, yeah.
And want you to tighten it, so.
Or at least Caleb would tighten
Just
it.
leave me on the fringes of consciousness near the end. So anyway, yeah, she comes to your little trailer after you have this awesome, sexy time night with 3 chicks, and she's like, "Hey, they found you." And she spray paints this. She has like a can of spray paint that has like witchcraft shit in it. I don't really know.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like she has special ingredients so that she can like travel between limbo and stuff, and like let other people go into limbo and come out of limbo.
Right, so she sends you into limbo so you can see the demons, you can see everything happening around you, and there's this big ass one that has like a vagina on its forehead is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, its nose.
Yeah, and you fight it, and it's kind of a cool idea though, because the whole time the story's going on, there's the reality, there's actual world, and then there's this demon world where you can see what's really happening. It's kind of like red pill, blue pill, but the blue pill still gets fucked over by the shit that's happening on the red pill side. So the dude like knocks down this Ferris wheel because the first part's in an amusement park, and the Ferris wheel just like starts terrorizing the town because it's rolling and like damaging stuff. But really, he's controlling it. But in the real world, they show a newsreel and it looks like just some freak accident happened and just started crushing people with this thing. So I thought the alternate universe was pretty cool. So anyway, Kat and Dante meet up, and she explains, basically lets them know about this group called the Order, which is a vigilante organization that's trying to expose the demons and take back control, essentially, because, you know, whether or not mankind realizes it or not, they're being controlled and harvested, basically, by these demons that are all around them. And so their leader, his name is Virgil. And
Takes the blue pill.
He's your brother, yeah. And essentially, you just want to hunt down the demons. You eventually learn that Virgil is your brother, and you have like a sweet little flashback where you see your parents, where your mother gets murdered because they committed like a crime against angels and demons. One of them, your mom is an angel and your dad's a demon, and they bred and had you two, so you have like the powers
The
of both
Nephilim,
sides.
yeah, they're like hated.
Yeah,
and it's a like mortal sin to like do that.
Right, and it's
apparently.
basically the same story as Diablo, honestly. You've got these two groups that are always battling against each other, good and evil, and now it's coming to Earth. That's how it is.
Let me ask you, when it comes to the original Devil May Cry games, what is the thing that connects them as far as story is concerned? So it's in an alternate universe, but where does the universe split?
I think this is just it's like a reboot, I would say.
It's a complete retelling. I mean, nothing from this game is in pretty much any way similar to the original, other than the main bad guy's name is Mundus. Like he's the Demon King, and you fight him.
Yeah, there's Virgil and Dante, but that's kind of the story of what the hell is it? Is that the one in? It's like that ancient tale of fucking
Dante's Inferno.
That's the one. Yeah, it's basically
it's not that ancient, but yeah,
yeah, whatever. But it tells of an ancient tale, though. But yeah, it's essentially that. So they're the only two recurring things that I remember. I only played DmC or Devil May Cry 1 and 3, and I didn't finish 3. I played 2, but I hated it, so I stopped playing.
It's understandable.
okay. So is that's the only thing that it's just a reboot, basically.
Yeah, it's a complete reboot. It's their storytelling is completely different from the originals.
Yeah, it's like way different.
Yeah,
So it's the
nothing is
character
pretty much the
names
same.
and the gameplay is an action-based gameplay,
Right.
and it's
much,
kind of
yeah.
dark.
Yep, and there's demons. That's pretty much it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Why call it Devil May Cry? Why not just make a new game?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what they wanted to do with that. I think they wanted to continue the series because like it was before he had like in the original Devil May Cry, the Devil May Cry is the name of his shop because he's a devil hunter and people kind of know about demons, but in this they don't yet.
Yeah, they
So
find
I think
out
it's before
eventually.
he opens his shop for Devil May Cry, and I think that they were going to kind of continue this series along that kind of path.
That's interesting.
Why is it a shop? Welcome. You can.
Well,
choose
he's
your
like a
devil hunter.
mercenary, and he takes on jobs that
He's got
are
an
mostly
office.
related to devils.
An office is better than a shop.
Yeah, so I mean, like Caleb said, you find
Well, it's
out.
like a shop where he like makes the pitchforks for the vampires.
I imagine it being more like a PI type office instead of like somewhere you.
Well,
walk
yeah,
up to
it
select
is.
what
It
you
is.
want
It
with
is
the
an
shop.
office, but
that's what it is. It's like I just have an office to have somewhere
Come
to chill.
find my
not
little
at home.
shop with a little e at the end.
devil
Yeah,
shoppy.
so the crossbreed is known as a Nephilim, like Caleb said, who's basically a child of a demon and an angel, and it's the only beings that are capable of killing the demon king Mundus. So Mundus's chief lieutenant was your father, Sparta, and basically they're just always in the never-ending war against heaven and hell with demons and angels fighting back and forth. Mm-hmm. So he was essentially Mundus felt betrayed, obviously, because he bred his main fucking dude bred with an angel and had kids who were capable of being more powerful
Than he is.
more powerful than him. Yeah, so he killed the mom, threw the dad into captivity and like endless torture for just forever, and you and your brother gets basically just tossed out, hidden by the dad before he gets captured. And you get some really cool flashbacks that are really foreshadowing, like you and your brother, Dante and Virgil, are doing little sword fights in the halls, and there's like this really trippy.
Yeah, you go to like the mansion where you lived and were hiding from Mundus.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Shows that you're better than Virgil, which is totally true. Yeah, and eventually you just kind of take him down. There's a bunch of times where the real world is happening around you. Like there's a part where the SWAT team is in real life is infiltrating the headquarters of Virgil and their organization that are hunting down the demons, because the demons control everything in real life too. So they're actual people, and they're sicking the SWAT teams on you, and you're in limbo where you're seeing the demons and all of that, and you can still see the humans around you, kind of like just their outlines, and you're basically doing stuff behind the scenes to help the people who are in the real world. And there's a lot of like crossover teamwork and stuff from that. And you basically go through, there's a sweet nightclub mission that I've played like a million times, where you fight Mundus's girlfriend, who's
We can talk about that in the gameplay.
we can.
Yeah.
She's a disgusting being who's pregnant, so you basically hold her hostage because they kidnap Cat. And
Oh, that's even worse. Oh, pregnant.
yeah.
Disgusting.
It's pretty fantastic, actually.
Yeah, and then you fight the spawn. It's gross.
Oh, it spawns out in the middle of the fight and you have to fight it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then okay, we'll talk about that in gameplay. But yeah, like Caleb said, like the entirety of this basic city is being controlled by demons, and in most of the world actually. And Mundus is this huge business leader who's controlling everything through basically corporate greed and everything. He runs the news. He has a demon who does that. He has a demon who is like in charge of this super soft drink virility, which controls people because it's like super addictive. And then through other means. And so it's really awesome to like see the way that demons like go about controlling humanity.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't buy it necessarily though, like the drink being the thing. I was like, that's kind of lame.
So I don't see any like real difference between that and how we are right now. The demons running everything, the news organization.
Yes.
What? No, and it's totally reminiscent of Fox News. That dude's, it's pretty bad. He's like,
The Barbus.
yeah, he's like just doing God's work.
Hey, remember talking to that guy earlier today at the pawn shop? All his acronyms for all those news stations.
Yeah, guys.
I'm sorry, what?
So we're talking to the guy who you're going to buy that guitar from later. He has like all these acronyms for like the CNN Clinton News Network.
Oh my God.
And stuff like that for all of them. ABC All About Clinton.
Oh, of course he owns a pawn shop. Of course he owns a pawn shop. Jesus Christ. All right.
She's going to take these from us. Which ones? All of them.
She was just bashing Hillary Clinton when you were trying to buy.
She should go to jail is where she should go.
He has
That's
no
what he said.
idea. I'm not saying I don't care about his views in this perspective, but she doesn't know who his customers might be, does he? Like, he has no idea.
No, his only thing was we were looking at guns. So
you were looking at guns. So
of course we're not. We're not.
Of course
Democrat.
you hate Hillary Clinton.
I mean, of course we're not of the.
Well, I mean, anyone.
Because it's not like 30% of Democrats owns guns or anything like that. Which I think it is about 30%. I think that's
I don't
true.
know.
It might have been. I think Republicans were only like 10% more.
I think he just
Likely to
assumed
own a
we
gun.
hated her because we showed human emotion and seemed like normal human beings. So we were like, yeah, okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy it, pal.
So you're saying that this guy, he would belong in...
Yeah, yeah. He would be a pawn shop owner in DmC. Yes. No, but yeah, it is kind of cool to see that. Unfortunately, I don't know. For me, the story, it seemed kind of light. I mean, I did like the fact that they captured Kat and they were like, hey, this chick's really important to you. And Mundus didn't realize that Virgil was your brother. He didn't know there was a second
Nephilim.
Yeah, second Nephilim. He thought it was just you and thought Virgil was just some regular guy that he had to deal with. There was a cool little plot line with that where finally he revealed himself. And then at the end of the game, when you defeat Mundus, Virgil decides to go rogue because he's like, well, now that Mundus is out of the way, it's our time to rule. And you're like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, we're going to rule this place. And he's like, that's kind of what happened last time. You know, it's kind of like the South Park episode where they take down Walmart and then that like Dan's store or whatever the fuck becomes Walmart and then they burn it down at the end. And they're like, well, what did we learn? You know, it's kind of a same kind of feel. So you basically face off against Virgil because you think mankind should rule itself, which is the whole mission you had from the get-go. But Virgil was basically playing everybody because he's an asshole.
Yeah, and it kind of foreshadows that Virgil is kind of a dick the entire time, but it kind of cements it a little bit when you meet that demon Phineas, and he's like, well, who would replace Mundus if you kill him?
Yeah, the guy with the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally saw it, especially when I went back after trophy cleanup. I saw a bunch of hints that it was like, oh yeah, he's totally kind of fucked up and going to take over.
So what would you guys give story out of 10?
Well, did you have any comments on story?
Pretty much what I said, you know. I don't know. I really enjoyed the story. The only thing is that it was a little short, so it didn't express like as much as it could have. So I'm going to give that like an 8 out of 10.
Oh, that's pretty high. Okay. Schweiss?
I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay.
6? Really? You hated it that much?
I didn't
That's
like
not
it
hate.
necessarily.
6 is...
That's kind of a hate.
6 is
like on the
enjoyed.
story.
6 is mid-range.
I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really like it. I felt like the energy drink thing was kind of a stretch. Like,
Yeah, it might have cocaine in it, but you'd have to try it first. And if you saw how addictive this thing was,
well, they don't.
tobacco,
they don't see anything about it. They just kind of drink it, and they always want more and that's one of the reasons why it got popular. Like any soda, really.
Yeah, but it's still, I don't know. It felt off to me, and it did feel short.
Well, they were also like marketing it as like a health drink and stuff. Like that's one of the big reasons why it was so popular. Like, oh, it does this, and since they control like all the media and shit, like of course they're gonna believe it.
So the super hip / vegan crowd goes first.
But I do, thank God for that, right? So, I did like the interactions between the characters, the interactions between Dante and the bosses, especially the succubus fight. That thing is hilarious.
Yeah,
and I think that all goes into
all
the story.
Dialogue.
The dialogue is simple and it's very punny and it's full of like 12-year-old jokes, is what someone told me on the stream, and I was like, that's about right. So I enjoyed all of those elements of it, but story-wise, I don't think the story is that great. I think it serves its purpose okay, but it just doesn't really... That's not what this game is about to me, so that's why I'm giving it a little bit lower than I normally would.
So before we move on to gameplay, I do have to bring the real statistic up. This is according to the Pew Research Center. Democrats, 22% of Democrats own a gun.
Oh God!
Which is higher than I think some people would think it would be. Both on the left and on the right, I think they would go, "Oh yeah, no Democrat owns a gun," or like, I think that would be the assumption. But no, 22% of Democrats admit to owning a gun. So I just wanted to set that straight. I said 30% and I was 8% off. There you go.
Probably shouldn't have said anything.
I shouldn't have said anything.
That's
I know that's really hard. But
that's a getting fat.
It is. Yeah, I guess that is a getting fat sort of area.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, gameplay for Devil May Cry or DmC. Is it Devil May Cry or is it DmC?
It's both. It's DmC.
It goes both ways.
Wow, that's
just like Greg.
Wow.
That is in his caprice. I agree.
Okay, is it gay? So if it's only for one person though, Craig?
What do you mean?
Well, I know you have it out for me.
No, not really.
But so it's not gay.
What? It's not really gay.
Can you be straight yet want me? Just me. Just me.
You.
Just me in the whole world.
You gotta be somewhere. What's the scale called? The Kiesel scale or something? Whatever the fuck that scale is called. He's gotta at least be a 1.
Okay.
Oh, whatever.
And I am the 1.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so 0 is you're straight with no homosexual tendencies, and then a 5 I think is you're fully gay with no heterosexual tendencies. And so you every person is on that scale, and so you got to at least be like 1 over. So it's a very, very minimal homosexual tendencies.
Nah.
I can't remember what the scale is called. I think it might be Kiesel or something. It's something. It starts with a fucking K. It starts with a K in my mind right now. Starts with a K. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So he's got to at least be somewhere on that scale. But he can be straight.
As he's talking about this scale, he's still doodling little dicks.
He's like he's drawing the pubes in right now. It's like he's probably at least a 1. let me finish this vein up, and I'll look up if there's any 0.5. That might be more fitting. What do you think of gameplay, though, Craig?
Tell us about gameplay. How does it play?
The gameplay is actually really fucking fluid. I mean, it gives you abilities to pull yourself towards enemies, pull enemies towards you so you can like dodge other attacks incoming by like grabbing onto an enemy and going towards them, or like pulling off enemy shields so that they can't defend from your attacks. And then there's like a lot of combo abilities by being able to switch weapons like immediately. And then like with the gun play, you know, being able to shoot stuff really fast, or like switch to a shotgun and do like a ton of damage to multiple enemies at one time. It's really fun. And
yeah, you have an angel mode too, which is where you use your light powers. You have certain abilities like a scythe that you have. I don't know why that's good, but
yeah,
you
like
have a scythe, some like giant shuriken-looking things that are really awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got your evil side where you kind of pull out the big guns. You've got this big-ass axe thing that is just epic-looking. You've got these cestus that you can put on.
Yeah, like demonic flaming fists.
Yeah, that are just massively damage-dealing. Each of them do special damage to certain enemies. There's certain guys that come out that have shields on that you have to damage with the light. So it's not a game that you can just use one particular style of fighting, and the way you trade between them is like L2 and R2.
Yeah, and it kind of like forces you to kind of do multiple kinds of things in order to do damage. There's like enemies that like you can only damage if you're using the demon mode, or enemies that you can only damage if you're using the angel mode.
Right.
And then like in certain parts of the game, there's like things on the floor that if you're like some enemies will like hit the ground and there'll be flame everywhere, and you will take damage unless you're using like the demon mode. Then you don't take damage at all. And then like while you're in the dance club to fight Lilith, there's like floor patterns that go from like red to blue, and you have to be using either angel or demon mode to not take a lot of damage from those. And that's like a really cool element to the game too, is like the little patterns like that.
Yeah, it basically makes you have to go through the move list and not just rely on
like the sword only, or only using
like
guns.
One or two things. I thought we said no phones for the show. How about that?
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
You just chilling.
He's looking up his freaking scale.
It's the Kinsey scale. I got the name wrong. I called it
and then he's
Keisel
a number
scale.
2. So it gets number one. Number
There's a
one.
test
No.
you can take.
So number 1 is incidental. So mean like happenstance homosexual behavior. And then there's 2, which is more than incidental. And I think drawing dicks all the time. It's not incidental. You're doing it on purpose.
Why
Maybe
is
he's
that
an artiste.
Yeah.
It was Michelangelo.
Yeah, well, I'm working on my nudes. Yeah.
One specific part of a nude.
Is David gay because he drew an?
They're limp. They're not hard.
all the time.
Is Michael?
What about your dick monster that you drew the other day?
I don't know what you're talking about, Caleb.
Whoever gets the book at the end will know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're not making this shit up. He seriously like just sits there. And he at least finishes usually about 3 a show.
Okay.
3.
All right. Let's continue. We can talk about this after, please God.
Okay, with gameplay, what did you think, Caleb? Like bosses, like the overall gameplay.
I thought it did take a lot from God of War, and I know we've gone back and forth with God of War copying a lot of the styles of DMC. Mainly DMC 3, I'd say. Although I think God of War came out after or before DMC 1. So
it came out after
DMC 1, but not 3.
Yeah.
And I think God of War 1 is very similar to 3. I think this game kind of takes that back. The style of the fighting reminds me a lot of God of War. There's pulling towards, there's jumping up in the air, attacking people in the air. But this game does it way better than God of War ever did. This combat system is legit in this game. We have so many combos you can do. You upgrade your weapons. You get new moves. You can go into a practice arena, practice those moves.
Yeah, and you can even, like, one of my favorite things about that is, like, you can purchase a move, and then if you decide you don't want it later, you can, like, sell it back and then get a different move.
Yeah, you can change your upgrades out. So, like, if you think you're good with a certain weapon, but then if you're good with the hammer and then you get the cestus, you can just trade them out and get the cestus upgrades, because might be more... I don't know, it might be better for your style of gameplay. And there's so many different ways to do things in the game. I mean, there's certain guys that you have to hit in certain ways, but there's the guys that fly around that have shields on. I mean, you can either jump up, hit them with the demon weapon, shatter the shield, or you can literally just pull the shield out of their hands with another objective, the little chain move. And there's, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of, within the gameplay, there's a lot of mini game kind of cutscene sort of things where we have a jumping game where you're like, the building is collapsing and you need to jump and use the pull moves to pull yourself towards it, or use it as like a swing kind of a thing. And I don't know, there's just a lot of scenes like, can we stop fucking around with that? What are we doing here? Come on.
There's a spider.
There's a spider on the goddamn
Kill the
table.
fucking thing.
Cam didn't want to use his water bottle to do it.
I was just pushing it towards Joe because I know he's scared of it.
Well, I'm not scared of spiders, Cameron. Jesus Christ. I have nothing to kill it with over here, though.
Just let it be.
No. don't want it fucking having eggs and shit. And then I'm gonna be sitting in that couch and I'm gonna be like, why?
I think it came from Caleb because it wasn't there, and all of a sudden it was there.
I had nothing to do with
it. Jumped
that
into existence. Where is it? It's on the cable. I think you've injured it.
I thought you weren't afraid of it. That looked pretty fear-filled.
Dropping the pencil.
It's a spider, not even the size of a dime. It's smaller than that, even.
Most spiders are smaller than a dime.
Yeah, he's dead
now.
All right.
Okay.
No more fucking distractions.
All right.
So yeah, the gameplay is really solid in this game. There's a lot of fun elements. There's a lot of timing moves, a lot of grabbing stuff, pulling dudes towards you. There's a lot of ways to get a lot of orbs, which you use to purchase items like health and upgrades. And then there's a cool combat system that the first game also had, where if you do certain moves in a row without getting hit, certain dodges, you get like these rankings.
Yeah, the bonus points, the stylish points.
Yeah, the stylish points. They brought back those with a vengeance for this game. And yeah, I think the gameplay is easily the best part about this game. And I'm going to give it 10.
You're going to give 10 on the gameplay. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better than God of War when it comes to action? Really? Okay. Because I know you've always been tooting that God of War horn.
I think God of War is better overall. But the gameplay in DmC is better than God of War, I'd say.
Okay.
I really enjoy the gameplay as well. I mean, like, even in like the tiny movements of the characters, you can kind of tell their personalities. Because like with the Virgil DmC, like DLC, sorry. When you play as Virgil, he's very precise and quick with like his movements and stuff. It seems like very calculated, like his personality. But when you play as Dante, he's just kind of flailing around like just randomly, like, and he's really wild, which is more like his personality. And I think that was really fucking cool to add into like the gameplay. And I would also give the gameplay a 10.
So So from that, you guys will probably really enjoy Heavenly Sword, just based off of that.
I haven't played it, but
it's somewhat similar. I've played a little bit of it.
Didn't they also do Bayonetta?
No, I don't think they did.
Oh, really? I thought they were the same guys.
No, I don't think so. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
So DmC, Devil May Cry, is filled with sort of, I would say, very dark, crazy, hell-filled imagery. Guys, the design of the game, what did you think? I know this is like the big thing for the fanboys, is that the design is different, especially of that of the main character, than the other three Devil May Cry games. What do you guys think about the design of this game, not comparing it to the other Devil May Cry games?
This game had a really sweet design. The limbo stuff was not in any of the other Devil May Cry games, and I think it adds like a really fucking awesome element to the game, where you like switch between dimensions to like fight demons instead of just being cut off by like some random spell thing.
Okay.
And I thought that was really cool, like the interactions with like limbo and how like buildings are all torn up and floating and doing all this random shit trying to kill you, and then just like the random imagery that like the Limbo City has, and then switching to the normal world, which also looks pretty good. It just felt like really natural, and then the enemies were also pretty sweet looking too.
Yeah, they look fucking crap. I was looking at some like crazy spider woman that I saw Caleb Schweiss fighting earlier, and that thing looked freaky.
Yeah, the succubus.
Oh, yeah, the succubus fight is really fun.
Yeah, it's brutal in that bloody palace, though. Yeah, I think the artwork is fantastic in this game. Namely, I really like the character look. I know a lot of people don't. That was one of the big things that the fans of the original games hated on, but I don't really care. I don't dislike the original Dante, but I also kind of like this one more almost. I know that's probably blasphemy to...
I feel the same way. I really enjoy the older Devil May Cry games, but this Dante, like, he fits more into this world than I feel like the other Dante fits into his world. And, he like, this Dante also feels like he has more of a personality than the older one does.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier. You mentioned that He's like in the original games, he is really cocky and he does do a lot of jokes and stuff, which he does here.
Yeah, he's pretty much the same. He just has more of a personality. He feels for Kat. He wants the best for humanity, which is why he gets freaked out when his brother says that he wants to rule.
Right. That's why he fights his own brother and runs him through at the end of the fight.
Yeah, he does not want that to happen.
And he knows that it'll turn into the same shit show that it was before. So
yeah.
It does seem like it has a little more character depth. And my favorite mission, I think, is definitely the nightclub one, though. That thing is fucking awesome.
The nightclub was really sweet.
You've got this crazy ass music going on in the background with the little music lines. I don't know what those are really even called.
I don't know what they're called either.
But when you're watching a stereo, an old stereo, and it has the little bars that jump around. It's got that going on. It's got
the sound wave stuff.
Yeah, sound waves. It's got a bunch of music, really heavy. The design is just nuts, just colorful as fuck. Like you would imagine a world would be if it was colored the way things sound. That's really cool. I also really enjoy the idea of this alternate universe here. They're looking down at the main news building, and it's just this tall building, right? A skyscraper, and then they look at the shadow in the
reflection in the water. And that's the real tower, and they have to go to limbo to get into it.
They go upside down and then go towards the real tower, which is in the reflection, which is fucking sweet.
I just remember looking at this game going, whoa. That's pretty incredible looking.
Yeah, it's not what I expected at all.
Visually.
I had no idea what I was...
Okay, so how does it compare to the originals in terms of design then?
Yeah, it's a lot better. In the original games, you mostly spend most of your time in a castle or a tower, just the entire time. And so you just it's just same rooms and stuff of that, just bricks everywhere, and then you fight demons, and it's kind of cool, but it also feels more claustrophobic. And then you get into this game, and then you have the whole city that you're going through, and then different dimensions, and then even with the you get to fight the news dude Barbas, and when you go into that, you go into the logo, and you're jumping on platforms of the logo, and then you go in there, and it's really fucking cool. And then halfway through the fight, it does a little cutscene. Well, not really a cutscene, but it moves into where it shows Dante through a camera fighting enemies.
Oh yeah, news footage is what it was.
News footage, and that was really fucking cool when it transitioned into that as a break to regain your health while you're fighting the boss.
Yeah,
I thought that was really fucking awesome, a way to transition. And then, also the fight with the succubus, switching platforms and the way that they did that, and how everything looked as you went in through limbo, where all these crates were just kind of everywhere floating around. And it was a really cool design for everything overall.
Yeah, and the news fight was really awesome too, because you end up going out of limbo and you shoot him, you kill him in real life kind of a thing, and he's just completely dead. And I don't know, it's just really cool. As far as the design goes, and oh man, some of those fights, they're just crazy.
So what are you going to give the design out of 10?
Oh man, you go first, Caleb.
With the way I'm gonna give it a 10. I really like the design of the game. It really fits with everything that they have going on in the story and with the characters. It's pretty damn good. The only thing I might fault it for was I wish there would be more of a variety in enemies, but they all the enemy designs are pretty sweet, and I just really liked it.
Okay, Schweiss?
I'll give it a 9.
You'll give it a 9?
Yeah, I don't have really any problems with it necessarily. I just don't think it's perfection. I do really enjoy it, and I think if any of you guys out there really loved the first 3 games and didn't want to give this one a try solely because of the design, I think you really should give it a shot. It was a
Get
lot of
over
fun.
yourself.
Yeah, it's good times, and just remember, Capcom basically sanctioned them to make this game. They told them, yeah, this is fine. We want you to change Dante. Do this. So don't think of it as a blasphemous thing. It's solid.
Just learn to separate it. Like if you read comic books and Batman and stuff, don't be oh well, Batman in the comic books should be the same as Batman in the Christopher Nolan movies. Just think of it as a separate universe, which it's supposed to be.
Game of Thrones. That's what I'm always talking about.
Game of Thrones
show versus book.
and the book. Yeah,
they're different. That's just the way of things.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, sound and music. The first thing I want to touch on is voice acting. How's the voice acting in this game?
Voice acting is really fucking good, and then the dialogue for the entire game is really awesome. You're fighting the succubus, like basically the entire dialogue is "fuck you." Like they basically say that back and forth to each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really fucking awesome that they would just like do that. The voice acting is really good in that game.
It's really good. Okay, Schweiss.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely solid. There was never really an awkward moment. There was never fill your dark soul with light kind of a thing.
Yeah, no real cheese.
Yeah, and it was, like I said earlier, it was like a 12-year-old rated almost, like a
Well, yeah, I mean, like Dante has that kind of sense of humor and stuff.
He
though.
does,
like,
yeah.
He called the succubus, like he called her his prom date or whatever. Like it was funny, just like going around like being a dick.
And then like the comedy, even without dialogue, like the scene where in the very beginning where he's getting smashed around in his trailer and he's like flying through his trailer naked and shit's just floating by like covering his dick.
Yeah, and then as he's like getting dressed while he's like flying through his RV. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, like just the
To Joe's disappointment.
yeah. No Dante D. That was just really good. The music was
The music.
Yeah, how did you feel about the music, Caleb? I know you were always raving about it.
The music sounds fucking awesome to me as someone who didn't play it. I just was watching him on
the stream?
Twitch, and I was like, Jesus, this soundtrack is awesome. as
I remember
as a metalhead, yes.
Yeah, I remember you commenting. It was like, this game looks like metal. Like it was.
It's the most metal game of all that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the equivalent of Mad Max in a video game. Just metal all
Mad
the fucking
Max
way.
is metal. And if metal is a movie genre, that's Mad Max. And then if metal was a video game genre, it'd be Devil May Cry.
Probably, actually, yeah.
Jeez.
I'd say. So the two main, I guess, artists behind the music are the guy named Noisia and Combi Christ. And I think Combi Christ did most of it. What they do is they do like really heavy dubstep almost metal. And normally I'm not a fan of dubstep, but when it's mixed with metal, I'm a fan of it. Actually, it's fucking heavy in this game. Like I'm talking like heavy as hell. It's not like heavy like Behemoth that I went to a little while ago. Heavy. It's like you can kind of understand it, but it's just low and just deep. It was pretty awesome, and it added to the. It definitely added to the effect of the game.
Added to the world and the design and the characters.
Yeah, this crazy ass design with this heavy fucking club metal music going on. It's impressive. I felt like it was very inspired, and I thought it fit extremely well.
How do you feel, Craig?
I feel the same way. I really enjoyed the music. It's not overpowering, but it's there, and you can like enjoy it while you're playing it. It's not one of those games where you're like, I don't really like this music, so you like turn it down and then play different music or something else. Yeah, it's definitely not that. God, fucking damn 8. I fucking hate that
there's
shit.
gonna be so many people mad at you just because he said that.
I hate Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack, okay? It fucking sucks.
Thank you.
That wasn't us. That was Caleb Craig.
That was Caleb Craig.
This is Caleb.
They already know how I feel about it from the Final Fantasy VIII review.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so incidental sound in the game, the other sounds in the game, did they work for what it was?
I think so. The guns sound like guns. The sword swings sound like sword swings. The clangs, everything.
All right.
You don't really hear much of it, though. I mean, you're just kind of like
the
going
metal
through.
is just overpowering.
Yeah, the metal is like
It is
metal.
kind of overpowering.
I guess that is a solution, for background noises. There's no need.
Well, you can hear it sometimes. I mean, you can hear him when he's like walking along like a metal surface. It'll do like the clanging from the footsteps, but there's not really a whole lot you need going on when you're in like some weird devil dimension.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's sad that we have to bring things like footsteps up. But there are games where the footsteps don't match the movement, so it is a thing that must work.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was playing, but it was something, and it was it might have been Diablo.
Diablo 1 had really, really loud footstep noise.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you're
what it
wearing
was.
boots, so it sounds like you're walking down with stilettos.
Yeah. Like I'm going down here after prom night. Like, oh, let's go into the chambers. You know,
Is that what happened?
catacombs. I didn't go to. I delved deep into the chamber. Let's. we'll leave it at that.
How deep?
And so he just leaves the stilettos on.
That's
is what he's saying.
confidential. Yeah. No. So yeah, I thought
At
this-
least half an inch.
Yeah, it's just the tip, baby. So I am going to give sound a 9. And the reason why I'm taking one off is because of the music only. There was a time where there was some dialogue going on, and I could not hear any of it.
Yeah, that was really bad.
The
Which
mix
part
was
was that?
like,
That was
I
my
think it
problem
was.
with Fable.
It was early on. There was like a scene early on where he was talking to somebody, and the music was just like awesome, yes, but like so fucking powerful. I could not hear a fucking thing. And he was moving his lips. There was like text, and I was like, "What is he saying?"
Well, if there was text, how did you not know what he was saying?
He can't read. You kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's just a bad mix. I think they messed up a little bit here and there. Okay, but that's it.
Caleb Craig?
I would also give it a 9. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't feel like it was like extremely perfect for the game.
All right. So this is, of course, we were talking about game lengths in between our segments here.
It's all about length here. Or nude. Sorry.
It is often about length when we're talking about what games to play next.
At least for Joe.
Yeah, for Joe, because he's picky about his length.
Always wants it short.
Yeah, that's why I like you so much, Craig.
Oh, yeah?
Stubby.
So it's about a 7-hour game, as you guys were saying. Replayability, though, like what does it offer as far as replayability for you guys, or to continue on past the main story?
I think it being a short campaign kind of lends itself to a more replayability type thing. Cause you can I really wanted to play this game again because I really enjoyed the gameplay. This is like playing it was the second time that I've played the game overall. And then it's got like
Playing it was the second time you played the game overall.
Yes. Okay. If you understood, then I have played it twice. Is what I'm trying to say here.
Okay, that's what that means.
Yeah. And then it also having the Virgil DLC, I think, was really cool. That was like another 2 hours onto the game.
Without the DLC, would you have replayed it?
Yeah, I would have. Okay. There's like also the Bloody Palace mode, which is like a mode where you just like endlessly fight, or you can have it like on the timer, and then you try to like best your score every time. That's always kind of a fun thing to do as like a side thing. And then always trying to get onto the next difficulty level. I mean, you have to beat each and every one in order to move on.
That's not true, but almost
Yeah, it
all
is.
of them. No, it's not. You can unlock 2 after beating it on Son of Sparta mode.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am sure about that.
Okay, because I could have sworn it was like each and every one.
What
But
the
it's still, though, the different difficulty levels, I mean, there's like heaven or hell where you basically can kill any enemy in one hit, and then you also get killed in one hit. And then there's also the hell in hell, which is where enemies have normal health, and then you have like one hit till you're dead.
Yeah, so there's some crazy difficulty. The Virgil DLC does add some gameplay. It's a couple hours, and there's also these creatures called lost souls. They're basically trapped in between dimensions. I think they're trying to escape the reality, so they tried to take the red pill, but they don't let them take the red pill.
Yeah, they're basically collectibles along with like little health things that if you collect, you can get bonus health, and then you can collect keys to do little side missions within the mission.
Yeah, and then these side missions range from, one of them I was doing yesterday, it was kill 4 enemies without killing the or without using the same move twice. So I had to use a variety of moves to kill these guys. There's a bunch where you just have to get to the end of the course at a certain time frame.
Okay. Yeah, and then the first one that you do is you can only kill them while they're airborne.
Yeah, so you have to knock them up in the air. So it kind of helps you train for those harder difficulties.
Yeah, and it helps you kind of like boost up your combo ability.
Yeah,
because it forces you to do different kinds of things.
Right. Each time you kill somebody, you get orbs, so you can upgrade your character more. There's a lot of stuff as far as replayability goes.
Okay.
I would definitely replay it, and I did. After I beat it, I went back and got every lost soul, found every key, did every extra mission. I found all the lost souls in the Virgil DLC. So yeah, I think replayability is super high.
Okay, what's your score for it, then?
I'm going to give it a 10.
10 on replayability.
I'm going to keep trying that fucking Bloody Palace until I get that stupid succubus bitch taken care of. It's brutal, dude. She is trashing me. I can't do it. I just fucking can't do it. It's too much.
I would give it a 9. I really enjoy the game. I've played it twice so far. I'll probably play it again, later down the road. I want to do the Bloody Palace modes and unlock the harder difficulties. I really want to try to do a run through on Heaven or Hell. That seems like it would be really fun to try to see how far you can get, just like killing everything in one hit, and with the opposition of you getting hit and then dying.
Right, yeah, that kind of adds a whole new level of difficulty. Like, you got to be fast.
Yeah, and then there's little options you can do to kind of change it up. The turbo mode, which adds 20% speed to the game, and then the must style little thing where you have to have at least an S in your style points in order to do damage to the enemies.
Yeah, the 20% boost, I activated that and I don't even notice it. I can't even tell. I think I can subconsciously because
it's a little bit more noticeable if you play it with Virgil.
Oh, okay. I can I see it a little bit because there's sometimes where guys are about to attack me and I'll get hit because I'm used to the slightly slower speed, I think. So I think I have more time.
All right, so final thoughts on the game before we get to the final score.
I would say definitely play this game, even if you hate the design of the new Dante and you're a fan of the older games. That's kind of a dumb reason to judge this game. It is a very good game. I really like the story, the gameplay, everything about it is really good.
I'd say don't worry about the story. Enjoy it for the environment of the story at the very least. I think is cooler than the
environments
story
are
itself.
pretty sweet.
The actual storytelling, it's mostly not really important, but the idea of it, of the story, of the alternate dimensions, I think is a really awesome take on the Devil May Cry universe. The gameplay is probably the most fun I've had in a hack and slash ever, and I think it's the most fluid by far out of all of those games, and I'd recommend picking it up. It's great. The definitive edition, I think, was $40 on PSN. I'm
it's
sure it goes
I got
on
it for
sale.
$20 on Amazon for the physical copy. So yeah,
it's worth it.
Definitely pick it up. I mean, I hope that Ninja Theory continues to make games that have as solid a gameplay as that game.
Just don't try to platinum it though, because you can. It's just you're gonna have to play it a bunch of times. I think I put 25 hours in and I'm 56% done or something.
Yeah. So on our final recap for Devil May or May Not Cry. Story. Craig gave it an 8, Schweiss gave it a 6. Gameplay, both gave it 10s. Design, Craig gave it a 10, Schweiss gave it a 9. Sound and music, they both gave it 9s. Replayability, Craig gave it a 9, Schweiss gave it a 10. Craig's score is 46 out of 50. Schweiss's score is 44 out of 50 for a total of 90 out of 100.
Woo! That's just 5 above Metacritic.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is... I'm surprised, I'll be honest, because Schweiss has always kind of been in the God of War camp, and I know Craig has always kind of been in the Devil May Cry camp as far as what action game is king. So the fact that Devil May Cry won and Schweiss was basically dragging his feet in order to play this game, I am very surprised that your score is as high as it is, just based upon sort of that your previous notion of the game itself.
All right, so here's the thing. Devil May Cry did it first, but God of War did it better.
Until
Ninja Theory did Devil May Cry. And I'd say it's probably better as far as gameplay goes, but I do still like God of War more as a series.
Okay.
But
it's a pretty solid series.
But this game
God of War 2 is really fucking good.
And I like the story in God of War a lot more than this DmC game, but the gameplay is just so good. I can't deny that.
Yeah,
I'm
gameplay
glad
is really fucking
I'm glad
good.
You guys betrayed me on the voting and had me play this game. So thank you for that.
That's good.
Thank you for your betrayal.
That's a weird thing to thank people for.
It is.
All right. So I got one piece of news. And this piece of news is that the director of Warcraft was on the Nerdist podcast, and I listened to it.
Oh, yeah?
So the news is that I listened to a podcast. But let me say something. I am actually kind of regretting the score that I said.
yeah?
I think I gave. It's really low, whatever it was. It's somewhere in this notebook. What I bet the score for Warcraft is going to be, and that comes out in June. And so we're all going to see
You're
what the
hoping
actual
that it's
score is.
higher?
But the director apparently was he's a pretty big fan of Warcraft. He did direct the critically well loved movie Moon. He seems to know what he's talking about, and I have a lot of, after that conversation on Nerds, I actually have a lot of confidence in the guy. So despite the fucking terrible trailer for that movie, the movie might turn out to be decent. I'm actually kind of regretting the score that
you gave it.
Yes. However, we shall see.
I mean, they have Ragnar Lothbrok as a main, so how bad can it be? He's just going to give them the look, and they're going to go away.
Yeah. I think
It's blue as shit eyes.
I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I mean, I'm sure the guy's charismatic and all of that, and it sounds like he knows what he's doing, but I bet you if you talk to Zack Snyder, you'd think, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's doing.
No, he doesn't.
Exactly.
I read interviews with that dude, and he is a fucking moron.
It's like trying to watch Korn's bassist do a fucking interview. Yeah, sometimes I just play with my leg over the bass. Like it doesn't matter. Just loosen the string to where it's barely hanging on and just slap the fuck out of it. No,
Just play air drums with the guitar, and that should actually make it sound about right for Korn.
yeah, no. So I don't know. I'd still stick with mine. There's sometimes where directors make bad movies, and yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot. So sure, the one he put out may be fantastic, but will Warcraft be? A lot of people were talking up the Batman v Superman movie before it came out, saying, "Oh yeah," the actors were like, "Yeah, it's good." Everyone's pumped because they want people to go see the fucking thing.
Well, at the very least, I like the director, and I hope he continues to make movies just so I can hear him in interviews.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
what you want.
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes you can't save a bad script, though, right? It's just impossible.
That's true, yeah, if the script is bad. But he said they actually got a lot of control, and he seemed pretty confident in the review. I mean, in the interview, but it might just be that it's the interview for the.
He was
thing.
talking with a guy who says, "Enjoy your burrito" after every episode. So
Hey now.
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's just how I feel, Cameron.
I bet you he hasn't even had a Beto's burrito.
I don't know.
Duncan Jones is his name.
I saw him. He looks like a nerd too, the director. So I have high hopes there.
Oh, but Source Code's such a fucking good movie too.
But anyways, I have a couple pieces
It's
of
got
news.
two awesome movies. And hopefully Warcraft is just not that third one where it's three times and
And then you get a bad one.
then you get a bad one. Go ahead, Cameron.
Anyways, I don't know if you guys are waiting for this game. I know I am, but No Man's Sky. If you haven't seen a trailer for that or just kind of demonstration of it, you should, because this game is going to be big and it's going to be awesome. However, the release of it was pushed out to August.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was supposed to come out next month.
Yeah.
Yep, so it got pushed out to August, and
That's the Blizzard one, right?
No.
no.
No. I'm getting that mixed up then with something else.
The Blizzard one's
Overwatch is Blizzard.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, this one's going to be an extremely open world game where you basically get to decide what you want to do.
Yeah, you
do
can
wanna,
go into space
Do you want to
and fly
mine
to other
the fuck out
planets.
of your planet and start selling stuff and create a trading thing on your own planet? Or do you want to build a bigger ship and fly out to another planet and do the same thing there? And apparently, there's just no possible way for you to see every planet. There just isn't. You're going to go to places where no one has been in the game.
Wow.
And it's all randomly generated when you get to the planet, too.
That's impressive.
That
And
is
so
fucking
I'm
sweet.
really, really excited to.
And the
get my hands on
server's
that.
going to fill up and they're going to wait, sorry guys.
Yeah, I think it's a single player game.
So, guys, before we move too far on, do you have another piece?
Yeah. So I have to say this bit of news because a listener tweeted it to me, Pixeled Edge. Anyways, if those computer gamers out there who have awesome rigs, you may have heard of NVIDIA's Titan X. And that was the be-all for graphics cards until recently, NVIDIA topped itself out with the GTX 1080, which leaves both the Titan X and the Fury X in the dust. I've seen benchmarks from the video he showed me, benchmarks of about 20 times faster for certain games. And so that is super fast.
Does 1080 really well?
I guess it does.
How much does it cost?
Let me see.
Too much. Okay, let's move on.
Well, the Titan is like 1,000, so...
Yeah, you know what? How much would you be willing to spend for a video card?
The most I've ever spent was like $250.
Okay. Peasant.
Twice?
Mine was $650.
Oh my god!
That's the most expensive thing in this thing, though.
When we were in junior high, maybe it was high school, the biggest video card ever, like the one that was like the big gaming video card, was the GeForce 4.
Okay.
That thing, I think at the time, it cost $200.
So this one is $600 out of the box.
Yeah, that's
if you
my
want
range.
if you want the Founders Edition, you can get that for $700.
Damn.
Well, Schweiss, you got a new video card you're going to have to get.
It has been a while. I think it is time to...
You can either make a
sell
payment on
yours.
your house, or
You can sell your video card and get a better one.
Your house will always be there, you know.
the video card won't. You're right. It'll be obsolete. My house won't. I should buy the video card. No, before we move too far, though, we did get another second opinion on Devil May Cry. Okay. Now that we've let the dust settle a little bit on the review itself, let's see what Shinru has to say about it on our forums.
He said, how long did it take us to beat the game?
We already talked about that, but thank you. I have the PS4 version, and I know GameStop still gives a decent trading credit for it, so I might beat it and then trade it in soon. Ooh. Setting the tone. From what I remember on PS3, when I just tried out the new Dante sucks, and the story and everything was rebooted and sucks, LOL. The original series is much cooler, and DmC 3 and 4 have much better combat and gameplay. The game was really hated when it came out by the original fans, and to this day, people hate on the game, saying the main character looks like Jay Von Monroe from Blood on the Dance Floor. Emo group. Here's some pictures for reference. He does kind of look like that, I guess.
A little bit, yeah. Not so much in the second pick, but more in the first one.
So these get a bunch of laughs from people making comparison. Music was fine, but the metal music in other games is much better. He's got a mod for it and then some reaction videos. I don't know of... I'd say maybe Crisis Core music might have been cooler. Maybe.
I don't know. From what I was listening to, I was a big fucking fan of the music that was in this game.
I don't know
if
play.
Well, thanks for your second opinion. You'll have to let us know what you think once you beat it, once you actually finish it this time instead of just playing it like you did on PS3. But
it's a lot more fluid, I think, on the PS4.
Yeah, and
because the one thing I didn't mention is that you know how you can like manually aim on something.
Yeah,
that wasn't on the PS3 version.
Oh, so the aiming is better.
Yeah.
I played DmC 3, and this game is better than that game as far as gameplay goes.
It is.
That game is still really fun.
Devil May Cry 4 is. No, it's just not as good. It has the Devil Bringer thing, which has like, you know, kind of the ability to pull yourself towards things.
Oh, okay.
And, like grab things, but it's not as fast or as fluid or as fun.
All right, yeah. So Shinru, once you finish that on PS4, let us know what you think. But thank you for your alternate opinion and your really disturbing.
It's finally. It's nice to get an alternate opinion.
It is. I threw this up a few days ago, and I was worried that no one would come back in time. Yeah. But we also have another kind of question, more of a thing that we should probably weigh in on. This is from Baindrum. He sent us an email. He's checking in. He just saw a trailer about the game Emily wants to play, and it got him thinking about the horror games he's played. Actual horror games like Outlast and Collide or even Slender Man. These are the games that really do the horror genre justice over some shooters with horror elements. Then I thought of how much better those actual horror games would be utilizing a VR engine and device. Then I got to thinking who I could weigh in on this with, and I remembered the whippersnappers at Nude Clan. We haven't really weighed in on VR too much, and it's coming faster than a rocket filled with monkeys. Do you think that VR is inherently better designed for games that actually elicit a physiological response, like the pure horror genre or survival genre, than something like the upcoming masterpieces like the games Yay, I'm on the lame-looking roller coaster, and I'm walking on a beach with no other people?
Thanks for playing the email game along with me.
Here's my thing on VR. My phone can't handle the Oculus Rift. It just can't download the app, so I'll never try it until I get a new phone.
You do know they're actually coming here in Utah is a new VR what's it called, amusement park.
Yeah, we've talked about it
that
about
we talked about
16
before.
times.
Yeah.
And when that thing is out, I will try it. My friend Zach is friends with one of the people that works there, and Zach said he tried it and that it was just mind-blowing.
Yeah, we haven't weighed in on VR because we haven't really messed with it too much.
Yes,
that's right.
My buddy, my roommate Dwayne does have a VR headset for his Samsung phone, and
Maybe
it's
we can
cool.
ask if we can give it a try.
It's cool, but maybe we should get a game on there. Just have him buy a game. We'll pay him, and then we just play it.
Or we could just do it this way. We can all shell out for a Samsung, and this be the nude Samsung phone. And then we will all pay for it, and then just play virtual reality.
Or
games
we
on
shell out for the Steam one that's like $700, and have the best VR thing on the market.
But anyways, I think there is a reason why they go horror over other types of games. Because even though it is virtual reality, there's still that disconnect because you can tell it's animated. It doesn't look real. It's not like you're all of a sudden in this world. And so horror can elicit an actual, emotional response out of you that makes you ignore the fact that it's fake.
I've heard VR porn is amazing.
I love that that's the thing that you go to.
Oh, believe me, if I had that app, I would have tried it.
Oh man, if anything,
I believe you.
this is his way to really realize his fantasy of being in a field of dicks and just being able to frolic in all the shapes that he wants to frolic in.
There's gonna be like a porn video that is just a field of dicks that Joe can now just wade through.
No, it's the intro to Little House on the Prairie with the little music. Joe's just running down the hill of cocks.
No, we'll try VR when that thing comes into town.
when it comes into town.
We
that's
should
gonna
do
be a lot
that,
of
and then
fun.
I will talk to Dwayne about that. Maybe there's like some. I've seen people play horror games, and I do think that would be a good one.
What do you guys think about it
try.
though? We get an Oculus or whatever the Samsung thing is. We find a cheaper Samsung that we can just all have, and so we can really give the virtual reality a chance, so we can review it.
We could do that, or we could just borrow his.
If he's willing to.
If he's willing to, yeah. I do think
it's
we
his
need
phone.
to. We do need to try it out, though. It's the new big thing, and it's kind of important.
It
And
could be the new big thing, or it could just be a fad.
Does it smell like fad to you? It smells like fad to me.
Right now, it seems like a fad, but it can become something that is more.
Yeah, you got to remember the motion sensor stuff.
In my opinion, let's see how well this virtual reality music part goes, because I think that will dictate the future.
All right, well, we'll give that a shot when it opens up, and then we'll definitely look into VR. Okay. But I did think we should really weigh in
And the
on it,
reason
see
why
what we've
these
seen.
virtual reality music parks stand a better chance is because they can do other stuff to make it feel real, such as you're actually walking through this maze or whatever that's actually real, but then they can also do things like spray water at you, shoot jets of air at you to make it feel real, to trick your mind. They can,
Yeah.
he's still stuck in that virtual reality porn.
Sounds awesome.
The virtual reality porn.
I want to see
glory
it
hole.
after. What is it called? The Void? Is that what the thing's called?
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
so
the Void.
we go to the Void, and it'll be the Void after hours.
Oh my god.
And you just hope they
with
clean
real
the place.
feedback.
Oh no,
really well.
no, dude. The theme is have a hard time getting a date. Throw these on. You can get a date with anyone you want.
Yeah.
And so it's these girls who
Gonna
can't
get that
dates
Sasha
either.
Grey
You
going
can
on.
map. You can map.
dude.
Oh, it's these girls who can't get dates either. You don't even know each other's websites. And you have this headset on. You don't know. It's all virtual reality. She is anyone who you want her to be.
The virtual reality glory hole.
Amazing.
$1 million idea.
Joe's down with it. Joe's down.
I'm investing. I'll invest.
Joe's down.
I'll sell my house.
Oh my
Let's do
god.
this.
The VR glory hole, everybody.
Oh, where would that would be legal in Vegas, right?
Probably.
It's gotta be. Yeah, dude. Fucking, let's do it. Let's invest. Let's do it.
So you have a screening process you have to go through to make sure you're clean, and then you can.
Yeah. It's like
Virtual
and
fun
2
time
weeks
lab.
later, you are allowed in for life until I guess you would have to get. It'd be like the porn industry. You'd have to get tested every like couple months or something.
And you'd have to wear condoms and everything.
Yeah, you would. Except in Miami.
Yeah.
I heard that's the thing now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Shit. That's
okay. So one last thing before we end here, we have our nominations for months from now for me and Caleb's game, Caleb Craig's game.
Of course, the next game we'll be reviewing in 2 weeks will be the original Doom.
2 weeks from today still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
2 weeks from today.
You got time.
I've got plenty of time. I'm going to beat that thing in...
So, Caleb Craig has nominated the 2013 Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Why do you want to play Tomb Raider, Caleb?
Just want to play Tomb Raider.
Yeah, we know. That's why we asked you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It just
Support Square Enix.
My first nomination is the original Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, God.
I've played Metal Gear Solid 3 and loved the fuck out of that game. And then Metal Gear Solid has proven to be a more difficult game for me to play. And so sometimes I want to play it and sometimes I don't. But I figure, if the audience wants me to play Metal Gear Solid, I will brave it. And be frustrated all the way through its completion, perhaps. But I've heard it's a great game, and I really want to play it someday. Caleb, your next nomination is Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Why Heavy Rain?
I've always wanted to play Heavy Rain. I mean, I borrowed it a couple times from 2 different people, and then the same fucking glitch happened to me, where I got stuck on a loading screen of the fat detective's face. And it just wouldn't let me go on. So, that happened to me twice. 2 different games, 2 different systems.
Neither of the original owners
fuck
had the problem.
happened.
But you're going to try it on PS4 and see if it works?
I want to try it on PS4 and see if I get fucked again. So, it's just you can never play this game.
All right. That's because it was spoiled. You ruined it.
And I didn't do it on purpose. It was spoiled for me.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. That's good. That's a good thing.
It's good.
Yeah, Heavy Rain is chosen. Our last nominee is my nominee, and it's Warcraft 3: Reign of Chaos.
Yes.
Yeah. Just in time for the Warcraft movie. We're not playing World of Warcraft, and Caleb doesn't want to download DOSBox in order to play Warcraft Orcs and Humans or Warcraft 2.
I do like the first Warcraft.
Warcraft 3 is pretty well available, and I've beat it before, and I think it's a great game. And I think
Warcraft 3 is the only one I haven't played.
And I think Caleb Craig deserves to play Warcraft 3.
I do deserve it.
And in fact, it's my favorite for the nominees this week. You got a favorite, Caleb?
I don't know.
What one would you vote for?
Maybe Heavy Rain.
Maybe Heavy Rain.
Just to see if I get fucked a third time.
All right.
I'm voting Metal Gear Solid, and I vote Joe streams it while he plays.
I'm going to play Why? So you can watch me be frustrated at all the sneaking?
I don't know. I just want to see it. That's
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'd stream if I played Heavy Rain or Tomb Raider.
Yeah. You would stream.
Or Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, right?
Well, I don't have a way to stream that. So.
All right, so those are the nominees. So make sure you click on the Devil May Cry episode on nudeclan.net to check that out. Cameron, you keep pointing at me.
No, I just have another idea. We'll wait for Getting Fat.
We're not doing
Getting Fat on the review.
Okay, so
go vote on that shit.
Back to the virtual reality sex den. What I think would be more successful than another human being and easier to pass along would be animatronic sex dolls.
Just because you're into that.
Dude, they already have that.
I am not into it, but dude, see, you are wearing virtual reality goggles, so she is anyone who you want her to be. And it is, I guess, easier to pass along than it would be an actual second person that you don't know.
Okay,
all right.
You should probably just look up the force feedback
hold
thing.
on.
I don't know.
Is this Scarlett Johansson or what's her name? Margot Robbie or Emma Watson.
No, I don't.
Cameron.
Okay, I guess
Cameron,
those are the only 3 he wants.
Okay. What it's probably going to be, probably can't get anyone high profile like that because they have to be naked and there's going to be lawsuits. So you'd probably have to get models who will model for you and then be the models you can choose from.
Or the Mother of Dragons.
I'm sure she'd be down for that.
I don't know
I just think if it's a doll that actually will do stuff with you, while lying down, then I think that would be more successful than an actual second person.
I got
don't know
this.
about that.
I got the Scarlett Johansson as a brunette, as she was in that one Skin movie or whatever it was.
Under the Skin.
Under the Skin. Yeah. Oh man.
Really enjoyed
what
that,
do you
Joe?
think? What are you thinking, Caleb Craig?
For what? The VR porn thing?
For VR. What are you thinking?
Dude, I don't know.
You don't know?
I just have no opinion on your...
The big thing that I'm concerned about with
VR
the
glory hole.
animatronic.
It's too bad because they won't be able to do tentacle for Caleb.
Yeah, but practice on a hot dog first. Otherwise, you might rip your dick off.
That's the thing. That's what I'm worried about for the animatronics. Do whatever you want.
They're not going to be able to actually grab you. Just like move around a little so it feels like
Just
there's something
writhe.
there. Writhe? What are you into, Caleb?
Convulsions.
Oh, and then you can get one with tentacles for Caleb, too. Just start slapping him around.
Oh, God. They get all exploratory, too. Like,
Oh, my God.
make like Davy Jones noises.
Did we mention this show's not for kids?
Well,
I think that's in the intro.
It's a rated M game, too. I mean,
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, well, I think that's going to end it for Nude Clan. Go to nudeclan.net, which will take you over to ultimatefinalfantasy.com.
join the
and you
forums.
can vote there. Join the forums there if you want. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me at Obsidian Bar.
Me and Nude Clan Cam.
Me at UFF Podcast. Check out our other shows on our network. We have Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast, Super Sexy Swinging Fan Fiction. Jake and I read bad fan fiction. Joe's got a little one that he's been working on for a little while.
Called the Godzilla Podcast. And it's the greatest Godzilla podcast on the planet.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Oh,
And
thank you.
all of these shows can be found on iTunes and also Google Play now. I got that set up last week. It was really easy.
Sweet. And by the way, we haven't had an iTunes review in like for fucking ever. So if you could leave us an iTunes review, that'd be great. We'll read it on the show and we'll thank you profusely once you've done it.
Yes.
Do
it.
We'll see you guys next
We'll find
week.
you. Enjoy the nude.
May the list go on.
Live always in the nude.
Fuck off.
Yeah!